Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you. It's great to be starting coursework. I hope you're as excited as I am. We will be starting off with Unit 4, and Unit 4 is marketing. So, before we begin, I just want to show off my beautiful Prezi presentation here. This is a Seoul subway system, and each one of these stops, all of them, every single last one, is a different presentation area. So today we're going to be talking about Chapter 4, so I figured it was only right that we go to line 4 and begin there. So marketing, Chapter 4. The question that you might ask is, what is the role of marketing? What's the purpose? Well, let me tell you, marketing is essential to any business, and definitely essential to their success. It's more than just selling or advertising. Really, what it is it's satisfying customer needs or demands. Now you may wonder, how do I satisfy different customers' demands? Well, that depends all on what you are selling and what your business is based around. Services and goods are going to be different, and we will get into that later. But overall, the whole point is getting the right product to the right customers at the right price and the right time. It's all about being in the right place at the right time. But this doesn't just happen by accident. This is something that is very well researched by businesses and takes a lot of effort and money from different organizations so that they can market whatever they're trying to sell. So again, this is a great definition of marketing right here, and I would suggest that you remember that, because you really should know this. But marketing isn't something that stands alone. As in all types of business, everything is working together towards making the business a whole, and marketing is just one part of that. So next we'll be talking about how all of these parts interact and relate. So let's move down the blue line here, and we will talk about marketing and finance. Now, marketing and finance are two parts of a single business, but sometimes they can conflict. Sometimes they don't necessarily agree. Marketing and finance are supposed to work together, but as I said, sometimes they conflict. And often this is a conflict based on budgets and budgetary allocations. And really, finance has kind of a frustrating job because they seem to butt heads with most people. It's hard in finance because you want to save as much money as possible and be as efficient as possible and use as little money as possible. But every department is trying to fulfill their task, and marketing's requires quite a bit of finance. So for example, you might have this tiny little coffee shop, and marketing says, you know what, I want to put a huge neon sign out front. Thousands of dollars, a little bit tacky probably, but they really think that it would bring people into the business. Finance says, do we really have the money for a huge neon sign, and is that even a good idea? So this is a place where marketing and finance may butt heads. Marketing and finance may not be the best of friends, but they need to work together if a business plans on being successful. Moving farther down, human resource management, HRM, and marketing. And how do they interact? Well, information that marketing provides can help create a better HRM department. And you wonder how that is? If marketing is doing their job correctly, then many people will demand the product. The demand for their product will go up. And therefore, human resource management really needs to hire more people so that the product or the service can be distributed to the consumer. So the information that marketing provides creates an increase in labor, hopefully an increase, could create a decrease as well, and then human resource management needs to hire quality staff so that the company thrives. So for example, you're making furniture just like my lovely previous city, Grand Rapids, Michigan, United States did. Furniture was a big thing there, and if you need more chairs made, then you're going to need more people to make chairs. If more people are wanting to buy chairs because marketing sells the chairs very well and tells everyone that those chairs are the best, then human resource management needs to have more people who can make chairs. And you don't want to just create any kind of chair, you want a quality chair, or at least proper quality for the price that you are offering the chair at. So again, quality doesn't necessarily mean being the best, but rather being the best at what you do for the price. You're not going to want necessarily someone who's college educated to be working at Starbucks, even though unfortunately sometimes that happens, because all they're doing is making coffees. Not that making coffees isn't important, but if you're college educated and you're making coffees, you are overqualified for what you need to do. You need a staff that are qualified for what they do and paid appropriately. So it's not about having the best quality, but more about having the right quality. Now, a lot of research goes into marketing, and so this market research is used to help parts of the business, like operations management. Operations management works on the production of goods. And in order to meet consumers' needs, operations management needs to know what those needs are. That's what marketing does. Marketing tells operations management and other parts of the company what the consumer's needs are. And then operations management and marketing work to balance time and money. Time and money. So that everyone can get the right product, but for the right price. You don't want to have a too expensive product for consumers who don't care about the quality, but on the other hand, you don't want to have a cheap product when consumers want something that is good. Most of my examples have been about goods, but companies also offer products or services. Services. Goods and services are the two things that businesses offer. So what's the difference between when a company offers a service and when a company offers a good? Well, goods are storable, comparable, returnable, ownable, and tangible. Try and remember it maybe by Scrot. So, storable. They can be stored or consumed later. For example, if you sell food, it can be stored and consumed later. Or if you sell a fire extinguisher, it could be stored and used later. But a service cannot be stored. It needs to be used immediately. So, for example, someone who is cleaning your house could be a service, an IBBMY. That would have to be immediate use because they are doing it right now. It's in time. Goods are also comparable. So you could say, iPhone 6 or Galaxy Note 5, which one's better? Or you could say, this pen versus that pen. What kind of pen is better for me to use? Or you could say, this painting versus that painting. Which painting is better? But services are a little more difficult to compare. Different customers get different quality of service at certain times. So a lot of people may say one service is bad, but really it's good for someone else. On the other hand, there are some services that are obviously worse than others. A lot of people say that Comcast, which is a internet and TV provider in America, I'm not sure if it's here or not, they say that it has horrible service, but yet there's still people who really appreciate Comcast and use it and have been using it for years and years and years. The reason I mention that one is because one of my friends is in marketing for AT&T, so he always has that issue. Another thing is that goods are returnable. So you don't want a shirt anymore. You bring it back to the store, they give you money back for it. Or your shoe, the sole breaks. You bring it back to the store, they give you another one if it's within a certain amount of time. But services can't be returned. They might be refunded, or they might be offered again if you're not happy with the service, but they can't be returned. Again, because they are immediately consumed, because they are consumed in time. Goods are also ownable. The things around your house, you own them. They're physical things. You might own too many things, but that's okay. Services are not owned. They're offered by someone, but you can't own a service. And finally, goods are tangible. You can be touched and feel them. And services are intangible. They're actions, and they cannot be physically felt. So goods are storable, comparable, returnable, ownable, tangible. They're scrot. And services are basically the opposite of that. They have to be immediately consumed, they're difficult to compare, they can't be returned, there's no ownership, and they're intangible. So what's the difference between marketing and selling a good versus marketing or selling a service? Well, when selling goods, you often talk about the characteristics. So again, back to the iPhone Galaxy example. You say the iPhone has a bit of a smaller screen than the Galaxy, or the Galaxy has a stylus, or one of them takes better pictures, depending on what you prefer. So you get those arguments and you can really say, this characteristic is better than this characteristic, or this good is better than this good. And as we said before, that's the comparability of different products. Now a service might say that they have a better service than someone else. So for example, an airline says, we have friendly staff, or we have good movies, or we have lots of leg room. Those are all things that the service is trying to sell to you to try and get you to purchase their product And then also they offer those to you so that you return and do it again. Goods are also more easily outsourced. They're more easily distributed to a wide range of areas. So you could travel all the way around the world and sell your goods. You could sell, like I said before, your iPhones from California. You could sell them all over the world. Or your Samsungs from here, you could sell all over the world. That's why there's a market for both of those in each country. Services, on the other hand, are closer to home. It's hard to have an Agema fly all the way to America just to clean your house. It's going to get a little expensive. Or it's hard to have a cable provider from the States if you live in Korea. Not saying it's not possible, but it gets more and more expensive, and it's a lot more difficult to sell services around the world. So to reiterate, we talked about how marketing is essential and is getting the right product to the right customers at the right price at the right time. Very important definition. We talked about marketing versus finance and how they conflict. We talked about HRM in marketing and how it's providing the right quality staff at the right time based on marketing information. We talked about operations management in marketing and how you need to meet the consumer's needs in the right amount of time using the right amount of money. We talked about goods versus services and their differences. And we talked about the difference between selling goods and selling services. To look forwards, we have the 4 P's of marketing, which we'll be talking about later on in the unit: price, product, promotion, and place. And those are the big 4 marketing P's, but there are 3 more when you market services: people, processes, or processes, whichever you want, and physical evidence. And those are 3 more that are more linked with services. Thank you, and I will see you in class.